What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Rideshare Hub. I'm coming to you live from the Phoenix Sky Harbor something Gateway Airport. Oh man, so what I'm going to give you guys today is 9 things that most Uber and Lyft drivers wish they knew before they started. And this is such a great topic because there's been so many things that I was like kicking myself that I didn't do when I started. So you guys know the drill. Like the video if you enjoyed it, if you got something out of it. Subscribe if you want more content. We're trying to make you guys more money. We're trying to get you guys more tips, higher ratings, and just overall how to do this app the right way. Alrighty, so the first one, and this is like one of the biggest kickers in the world, is the sign-up bonus. So I did the sign-up bonus for Uber, but not for Lyft. The reason being is I started Lyft first, and I didn't do Uber until like, honestly, like 5 or 6 months after I started. So I made like an extra $500, I think, on my Uber sign-up bonus. And just knowing that I could have made that on Lyft just sucks. Since then, I've actually gone and done sign-up bonuses for a lot of the other, like I've done it for like DoorDash and Grubhub and all those. Like I've never done them again, but I just went and did it and made like an additional, I can't remember for each one, but like a few $100s. And then I usually split it with the person that sent me the code. And I do that if I send someone a code too. I just split it with them, give them that incentive. Let's see. Okay, this is an interesting one. This one kind of got to rely on instincts, and it just takes a little bit of experience. But just like when to not pick people up. And there's different scenarios where there are people that you don't want to pick up. This is tough, like I said, because a lot of this I think is just trusting your gut and your instincts. But I've had scenarios where I picked people up and I'm like, okay, if they're in here for more than a minute, they're vomiting. And so I tell them like, hey, you know, I'm sorry, I'm not doing it. You know, and the reality is some Uber driver will. But for me, you know, I'm not going to do it. A lot of guys will take people and almost like will hope they vomit in the car because then they get like a $200 cleanup fee. I'm just not trying to clean up any vomit. I'm not trying to add that to my day. If you want to, hey, great. Go in there and, you know, encourage them to yank on their uvula for all I care. But I'm not going to do it. So I've declined people that were just like obliterated. I think another thing like kind of on that topic is like in the middle of the ride, like who do you kick out? But I might actually just make that a video later on because that's a whole topic in itself. Yeah, the main thing is trust your gut. If you don't feel safe, pull over and just be like, hey, you know what, I'm just gonna let you out here, you know. And then if you're picking someone up and you just kind of don't feel good about it, you know, there's no harm in just telling them that, you know, you got to go home, you know, or something like that. Because if it's a reason like you don't feel safe and you don't want that person in your car, then just make up an excuse. Because if you feel that vibe, you know, you might not be wrong. And if you're just like, hey, you're kind of sketchy, I don't want you, you know, well, then they're probably going to do something sketchy. That's self-explanatory though. So yeah, that's pretty simple. You know, just don't overthink it. If you don't want someone in your car, you're an independent contractor, tell them sorry. If you feel sketchy, lie about it, whatever you want to do. But I don't do that all that often. For me, I'll generally take just about any ride. But I know for a lot of female drivers, you know, it's a much sketchier world out there for them than it is for us guys. So, like, I think for them, you know, there's going to be a lot of rides they turn down, and I think 99% of the time for probably really good reasons. So the main thing is just trust your gut. And if you don't feel comfortable, you don't even have to pull up. Just drive away. It's, again, you're an independent contractor. Don't feel bad about canceling. If they're really that desperate, they can go take a cab, you know. Let's see, number 3, and I've harped on this a little bit before, is following the airport rules. I made a lot of mistakes at the airport when I first started, and one of those mistakes in particularly, which was really more of like a mistake I knew damn well I was doing, it ended up getting me a warning. And I'm lucky. It could have been a fine. So yeah, that's one thing. Is just like I kind of was thinking when I started that I could cut a bunch of corners. Just don't. Trust me, it's not worth it. Number 4 is being personal and just kind of doing the little things. I remember when I first started, like I was generally always pretty personal with people, and just really engaging and stuff, but I didn't always go above and beyond or like go out of the way. Like I used to get really pissed off when people would ask me to make a stop, and I wouldn't really say it, but I would just kind of angrily pull over to the Chevron gas station so they can go get their cigarettes, you know. And the thing I've seen now is like if you just relax and just act like you're thankful and grateful to go the extra mile for them, a lot of times they're going to hook you up. And again, I've touched on that before, you know that by now. Number 5 is another thing I harp on a lot. Is when I started full-time and I thought I was crushing it, you know, and then I saw the long-term effects on my vehicle, and all the stress it was causing me in my personal life. And I'm gonna say it again, and go back and check out the other videos to really hear me go into detail why this type of work does not make sense full-time, because eventually you'll be replaced and you're destroying your car in the process. Now, if you watched my express drive video, then full-time might not be a terrible option, but I would still really consider part-time, you know, no more than like 35 hours. Number 6 is, and this is just so huge, is just bringing your own food. I spent so much freaking money on fast food when I first started, and the result is I felt like crap. You know, I would get super fatigued, and you're just spending way more money. Fast food's not as cheap as it's played out to be. Like, you got to really think, if you're buying everything and making your food and bringing it, it's gonna be way, way cheaper and way better for you. Number 7 is just, I think this was a big one for me, because like for me, I've been working since I was like, you know, probably in middle school. Like I started as a bus boy, so I've always been working a lot. And like the trap with Lyft and Uber is I was like, oh man, I can just grind out 70 hours, 80-hour weeks, and yeah, it'll suck, but I'll make a ton of money. Okay, this is a pretty easy job, you know, like, let's be honest, you're not in the coal mines or anything, but it's work. It still is work, and having all the people in your car is draining. So respect your body and respect your time. Like, I really do not recommend doing those crazy weeks. I'll send you screenshots. I'll show you guys screenshots in a different video of some weeks I did and what I made. And a lot of times I would grind out 70, 80-hour weeks, and I wasn't really making all that much more money. I mean, I was, but like the hourly rate you could tell was going down significantly. The reason being is that there's good times you should drive and there's times you just shouldn't, you know. And so if you're tapping into that many hours, you're going to get into time that's not really that useful and practical to be out here. So yeah, respect your body. Don't kill yourself. Don't get drained doing this, because you will. And that it can get very enticing to just work crazy hours because you're your own boss. Again, steer away from it. 8, this is like probably my second biggest thing I bring up, was that like for me when I started, I was the example of everything I've said in past videos. Scrolling through social media, not doing shit in my car. This is so dumb. Like, you can get so much done in your car, and I have like really learned that. Here's the binder with all my lines for a film I have coming up this weekend. I've been grinding out the dialogue in between all my rides at the airport, so on and so forth. You know, get stuff done. You can get a lot done. I'm not going to go on this because I've said so much about this already. Number 9 is taking breaks, you know, and that's another thing, like, that's really important, kind of on the draining topic. Respect yourself. Give yourself time off. Go to the airport queue and take a nap. Put some binaural beats on and just, like, relax and let your mind detox. But don't destroy yourself doing this, because for me, like, that's my personality. That's where the temptation lies. It's like, okay, grind out crazy hours. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. Rest, take breaks, so on and so forth. So yeah, guys, that was 9 quick mistakes that I think a lot of drivers make when they first start, as well as me making nearly all 9 of them. If you love this video, if it got you something, guys, give it a thumbs up. You know, we're out here doing this, and so the least you can do is like the video if you're enjoying it. And obviously subscribe, and you'll get even more great content. Go out and crush it, guys. Drive and make that money. See you later.